Okay, after reviewing the Review What You Know on page 2, we're ready to begin the lesson. Today's lesson is 1-1, Patterns with Exponents and Power of 10. So to get our brains going, we're going to take a look at this problem, and you can solve it any way you'd like. There are 10 batteries in a package, and we have 10 packages. So you probably figured out we're going to do 10 times 10. If we have 10 batteries in a package, and there are 100 packages, we'll do 10 times 100. And we'll have 1,000 batteries. Today we're going to be working with how to show these numbers, exponents, using exponents. So 100, we already set up there, it's 10 times 10. Using exponents, we're going to use the base of 100. It's called the base number. So just a normal old number. We're going to stick a little 2 at the top, which tells the reader that I'm going to have number 10 multiplied by number 10 2 times, which means I will have 100. If I have 10 to the third power, that tells me the base number is 10. I'm going to multiply it 3 times. The 3 tells me 3 times. A little trick for base 10 is the 3 will also tell me how many zeros are in my standard form number now. So 10 to the second is going to have 2 zeros in there. 10 to the third will have 3 zeros in there. That's just a little trick. And they'll talk about that in the lesson. So we're going to be using exponents. Exponents are those little numbers that are floating kind of above the number that's in a superscript position. So in your textbook, you can follow along with me. In the interactive textbook, you can use that. You can also use your textbook that you have in front of you. So this is reviewing the video. So you watch the video. I'm going to go over it. Watch it before I go over the lesson. It's a good idea to see the video, and then I'll talk about that particular page together. So you'll hear it twice. It'll help you really get the information in your head. So in the video, you saw Tamara's new horse weighs about 1,000 pounds. How can you show 1,000 as a power of 10 using an exponent? And these are all vocabulary words that are reviewed at the beginning of the topic on the vocabulary page, the purple cards. You can cut them up and use them to review vocabulary words. It's a good idea to do that before every lesson. Just quickly review them and to remind yourself the new math words that you're learning in the topic. One is power, exponent, and base. And if you read over those purple cards, you would know that the definition of power is the product that results from multiplying the same number over and over is a power of that number. The exponent is the number that tells how many times a base number is used as a factor. And some of the other words we're going to be reviewing is base. That is the number that is written using exponents. And value is the place value of a digit. The place of a digit tells you the value of the digit. And we're going to be talking about expanded form, which is writing a number. We're writing numbers out in place value in this chapter as well. So if you're not sure what some of these words mean, you need to go back to those purple cards at the beginning of the topic and review them. So the exponent is the number that tells how many times a base number is used as a factor. So the actual number right here, the standard form, is 1,000. We can rewrite 1,000 by saying 10 times 10 times 10. And this is, these guys are called factors. And the exponent of 3 is telling us that the 10 repeats 3 times. And remember, the 10 is the base number here. So if I jump over here, 10 is the base number, 3 is the exponent. 10 is the base number, 2 is the exponent. 10 is the base number, 1 is the exponent. So, and you can see 5 times 10 to the first equals 5 times 10 equals 50. 5 times 10 to the second equals 5 times 10 times 10 equals 500. 5 times 10 to the third is 5 times 10 times 10 times 10 equals 5,000. The number of zeros in the product is the same as the exponent. So 5,000 is written as 5 times 10 to the third. And you know that 5,000 is 5 times 1,000. 10 to the third is just replacing the way we show that number 1,000. So, and the pattern that you notice is, the pattern that we notice up here is the exponents are the same as the number of zeros in the value. The number of zeros in the products is the same as the exponent. So that's our pattern. And moving on, we'll be going over the guided practice together. And why are there 3 zeros in the product of 10 to the third? Because there's 3 zeros as the exponent. So you would have to write a handwritten answer here, and I'll try to do it on the tablet. So there are 3 zeros because there is an exponent of 3. Susan said 10 to the fifth is 50, and she is wrong. No. Common error, because 10 is the base number. 5 tells us how many times it repeats. We are using multiplication, but we're not multiplying the base number times the exponent. The base number is the value that's repeating 5 times, and we always use multiplication. And you can use that little cheater thing when we're doing base 10 and say, I'm going to have a 1 with 5 zeros. Don't forget to put your comma in. So 50 and 100,000 are very different values, so don't make that mistake. In 3 and 4, complete the pattern. 10 to the first power. The base is 10, and I only have it once. 10 to the second power is 10 times 10, which is 100. 10 to the third power is 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1,000. And 10 to the fourth power is 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, which is 10,000. And don't forget your commas. And 7 times 10 to the first power. So we have 7 times 10. Remember, 10 to the first power just means 10. And this will be 7 times 100. Or you could write out 7 times 10 times 10. 7 times 1,000. And 7 times 10,000. I do have these other tools here too. I guess I could use those too, huh? All right. And that's how you can see if you are doing things correctly. Got the smiley face with no eyeballs. You may go into buddy practice, and buddy practice will give you some good hints. I'm going to spend a minute going over buddy practice with you a little bit. I'm sure you used it last year, but just to make sure, it's independent buddy practice. Let's see, let me get rid of this stuff here. It's hard to see. So that's our routine. So we do the solve and share. You watch the video. We'll do some guided practice together. And then you will do the buddy work. As much of it as you can get done. If you're really doing fine, if you're doing well, you get 5 or more right in a row. You can stop and go right into the quick check. Get that there. And then you can do some of the other, I have some other fun things up for you to do. There's place value games and some other things we can do when you finish your math work. So let me get let's see, buddy practice. There it is. So these are in different orders for you. There's 12 questions. And like I said, if you're getting 5 or so right at a time in a row, you can stop. You can also do the review in the book. The problem with that is you will not have access to the answers to that. And you'll have to have your parents look it over. And it's probably better for you to be working in the buddy practice, because then you can monitor your own math. So 5 times 10 to the first power. I know 10 to the first power is just 10. So 5 times 10 to the first power is 50. And if I need some help, I go up for help, and you can do the help me solve this, and it'll give you some help on the questions. You can also, if you get it wrong, it will give you some suggestions. So let me put this one in here, and I'll do something wrong so we can see how this works. I think most of you have used this last year, but for the kids that haven't, let's add a couple extra zeros here and see what happens. It's going to tell you, nope, something's wrong there. So I can get question help, and I can do, it will give me animation help. It will bring me back to the video. I can watch the video again if I'm not sure what I'm doing. You can clear it and start over again if you get it wrong. It will give you another question. If you get it wrong, it will keep giving you a couple different questions. You can get a similar question. If you're not sure you really understood that, I want to go back again and see if I was right. So you really have a lot of chances to use this power of this program to help you with your math. So you're going to go through here. There's 12 questions. I got it. If you get it right the first time, you just go on to the next question. If you didn't get it right, you just ask. You can do similar questions. So you can see at the bottom, I'm on 2 of 12. And the nice thing about this too is that you can, as we're going through here, get 1 or 2 more done. I want the next question. I can, now here I've got to figure out what 10 to the 4th is. You have a piece of loose leaf paper next to you. You need a workspace or a whiteboard where you can write out some of this stuff if you are not, can't do it in your head. So 10 to the 4th this is what this means. 10 to the 4th means this, which is 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Now, if you're not really good with your tens, you can just count. Multiply. 10 times 10 is 100. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 100. You can just take our zeros and bring them over. It's 4 zeros. Oops. And we know that 4 means 4 zeros. So we can do it this way. 3 times 10,000. You can write it out. Whatever you need to do. Just don't make the mistake of saying it's 40. That's what a lot of kids do in the beginning. So I want 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. Check my answer. And so on. So if you're struggling, what you need to do is listen to the video again. So you go back up to the question help. You watch that. You can do another look, which is another video, different than the one that was at the beginning. And some kids like to do this.
Hi there. Today we will talk about powers. No.
So you really are in charge of your learning, which is super exciting. So that was lesson 1-1. Have a good day.